Are we just a touch tardy? Hey, it happens. Anyway, welcome to Let's Talk About It with your host, Sophia Janell Taylor. Hi, y'all. So today, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed because I get to sit down with a couple of my favorite people. I have this one to my left, your right, I guess. We have Commissioner Bryant B.B. Nolden in the house.
Good evening, and I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here. And then we have this wonderful gentleman to my right, your left. His name is Matt Taylor. A lot of people call him God Daddy, Godfather. He got all kind of names in the streets. I call him something else every now and then. I call him my Dottie. Hi, Dottie.
Hey, Sophia.
He's supposed to say, hey, Sophia. He's so smooth and cool. I like it. All right, so again, we're just so grateful that they graced us with their presence and their knowledge and their wisdom. These two people have been very instrumental in the Flint community. So right now, I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me and you can see me. So I'm going to need y'all to chime in. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Hello, everybody. Yes? Y'all can see me, right? All right. Okay. All right. So again, we're going to have a wonderful show. We want you guys to chime in with your questions and your comments, and we're just going to keep it rolling. All right. So today, what we're going to do is we're just going to have a nice, relaxing conversation. We're going to get to know the both of these gentlemen. Oftentimes, we assume when you are a public figure, a lot of people just assume that you know these people, but in all actuality, you may not really know them. And so today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get to know both of these gentlemen a little bit better. We're going to talk to them about their past, their present, and their future. We're just going to keep it light. It's going to be a good show. All right, so we're going to get into it right now. So, Commissioner Nolden.
Yes.
So talk to me about, tell me about your background. Tell me about your family and how you were raised, where you were raised, what side of town you were raised on. Let the people know.
Well, my name is Brian B.B. Nolden. I am a county commissioner representing the first district here in Genesee County. I was born in North Flint. I still live in the same house that I was born and raised in on Bundy Avenue. So it's right before you get to Carpenter Road, right between Saginaw and North.
He telling everybody. You must be cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I attended Martin Elementary School. I attended Flint Academy for middle school, and I graduated from Flint Central High School in 1983. I then went to cosmetology school, and I did hair for about 4 or 5 years. I still keep my license up right now to this day. But then I went away to college, and I went to Lane College for 2.5 years, and I transferred to Central State University, where I received a degree in and a BS in elementary education. And I came back to the Flint area in '91, and I taught in the Flint public schools until 2014 when I retired after about 5 years. In 2009, I was elected to the Flint City Council representing the 3rd Ward. And one of the reasons why I actually went into to politics is because of the gentleman sitting to my right, Matt Taylor, who also happens to be my cousin, and Sophia's my cousin as well. So this is a family thing.
I wasn't going to even tell that part.
Yeah, she wasn't going to tell it, but I did. So, but that's just basically who I am. I went back to school. I got a master's degree in public administration from the University of Michigan, Flint. And in 2014, I was elected to the Genesee County Board of Commissioners, where I currently serve right now. This is my 4th term. I chair government operations. I sit on the health board. Actually, I chair the Genesee County Health Board. I sit on the Genesee County Land Bank as the treasurer. I also chair the MTA, Mass Transit Authority Board, and also chair the GST Michigan Works. So I'm always working.
It sounds like
But my job and what I really love to do, I'm the executive director of Burston Fieldhouse.
Yes.
3300 North Saginaw, right on the north side of Flint. And Burston We'll be turning 100 years old next year, so we have some exciting things that we're going to be doing. So that's just a little snapshot
A little, huh?
about me, because I know we got a long show.
Right,
So
right,
thank you.
right. So yeah, it looks like I don't have to interview him because he just goes, and I love it.
You
So, right. So, wait, huh? Me? So, talk to me about your family, your parents, because I want to know like where you came from, like what made you you. And I know our past is a sum of who we are.
Okay, well-
so your dad, your mom, your grandparents.
All right. Well, my father was Willie Sophia Nolden, North Side guy. My mother's Judith A. Nolden, or Judith A. Jones, and she was a South Side girl.
Okay.
And my father met my mother at her 8th grade birthday party.
Oh, my.
And he said that my mother fell in love with him at that time. My mother differs on that, but they married in 1962. I was born in 1965. My father was very active in the community during the time when they had a lot of strife here in the community, when they had the riots down in Detroit in 1968. My father had an organization that he was a part of called the Bro-Am Club, and they were very instrumental in quieting the city of Flint and not let the city of Flint actually burn because of the organization and the people that he had in the group with him. They were able to, be able to keep these young folks at bay. One of the things that happened that I always remember him, telling me about was they arrested 101, I think, young black guys, and they had them downtown. And at the time, they came to my father and asked him what could he do to make sure that things didn't get out of hand. He said, you need to release all 101. And when they released the 101, his organization, the Bro-Am Club, with Sag Jarrett and Coleman, John Coleman, all of those guys, they went out and they patrolled the streets and they made sure that it was quiet. And the city of Flint didn't burn when a lot of these other cities actually went up in flames. So that's it. My mother, like I said, she is a Flint Central graduate.
Yes.
She ended up going back to the University of Michigan, and she became an accountant. She works for General Motors for a number of years in the accounting department. Always been a pillar in the community.
Yes.
Always looking out and trying to make sure her boys are doing right. It's 3 of us. I have an older brother by the name of Tony Cobbins, and then I have a younger brother, Corey. So it's the three Nolden kids. I'm 754 East Bundy, north side of Flint.
Okay.
I done gave the whole street address. 'Cause I'm not ashamed of where I grew up at.
As you should
and where I'm from. And actually, right now, I own 5 houses on the street because I know it'll never look like it looked when I was a kid. But if I'll be able to control those houses, I can kind of keep them up and keep the neighborhood halfway stable.
I love
So
it.
that's a little bit about me.
I love it. So I'm going to go over here with Mr. Taylor for a second. So I'm sure I don't know everything about you. And so perhaps you can enlighten me. Talk to me a little bit about your past and where you came from. Are you from Flint?
No, initially I was born in Arkansas, a little city called McCaskill, Arkansas.
Okay.
My parents come here when I was 3 years old. And I was raised, initially I lived with my Uncle Odie and his family. We stayed there for approximately a year, and my father bought the house at 829 East Jameson.
Okay.
And my uncles, aunts, and all of the children, all of them would come over, and they would work on the house. The men would work on the house, rehabbing. The women would cook, and they would be making clothes and whatever. From that point, I started, my father started he was working at Buick as a millwright. He also was a barber. And at 11 years old, I started watching what he was doing, and then I started taking the trade from him.
Okay.
At 15, I had over $15,000 in the bank from cutting hair at $1 a head.
Wow.
We grew up. My mother and father were, they were musicians. They sung. Our house was the house that everybody come to. Of course, you know, barber shops and things like that. Everybody come to that. But for the most part, that's where I was raised, on Jameson Street, which I think later on we're going to get into the Burston transformation, which Bibi is going to buy the property where I used to live.
Oh, how
at
amazing.
829 East Jameson.
So wait, so now you're telling me about your family and where you all lived and how you all migrated here. So during your time, was Flint segregated during your younger years?
Very much so.
Wow.
You after school, you know, I went to Northern, and
I'm sorry.
after school,
I'm sorry about that.
boo. After school, you could not, unless you were doing sports, football, basketball, whatever, and so you couldn't go across Saginaw Street.
Absolutely.
That was the law. If they caught you across Saginaw Street at that particular time, police would ask you what you're doing over here.
Are you serious?
I mean, that's how Flint used to be.
Wow.
And it was, we didn't understand it at that particular point, but at the same time, it was a good thing because we, as so-called black folk, had everything within our community.
Absolutely.
And we owned that. It was our people that owned the drugstores. We owned pharmacies. We owned cleaners. The whole shop. We owned those things, and that was the good thing about it. The bad thing is, of course, segregation. But we had, in my opinion, I wouldn't give anything, you know, based upon how we were raised. I wouldn't trade places with the guys today.
All right.
I mean, they have more at their, you know, at their disposal, but we had something, and we were building on that until they come through with what you call regentrification,
Urban renewal.
urban renewal, and all of those kinds of things. And so they bought out everything, they displaced everyone, and this is where we are today.
So now you said that was Jameson Street, right?
Yep,
And so Burston is right there.
yep, right down the street.
So tell me about your memories of Burston.
Oh, geez, Burston was the pillow in the community because that was the center that everyone, you know, went to. At that particular point, you had the swimming pool.
And what other activities did they have there?
You had the swimming pool. You had boxing. You had basketball. You had. It was so many things. They even skated and things like that. I remember outside in the parking lots, they used to, in the wintertime, they would put water in the parking lots in certain areas and that's where I learned how to ice skate.
Wow.
You know, and we had all kinds of activities out there in the wintertime. In the summertime, we had all kinds of outside activities, track and field, and football, flag football, and things like that. So it was in my upbringing, it was a very memorable, good place.
What about the library? I had the library there
We had a library.
Oh, there was a
It
library
was-
inside of Burston?
Yes.
on the second
yes.
floor.
Yeah, I mean, you had everything.
Flint Public
Burston was the place.
Mm-hmm.
It was the place to go.
So around what year do you feel like things started to change and go down? Around what time, what year, what era was that?
In my opinion, I would say when we started when we start more or less Martin Luther King come in and the integrating kinds of marching and things like that, and they just stopped the segregation and they started integrating, and when we started sending kids out of our community to other schools, I think that's when everything started falling apart, because people start moving out of the community to send their kids to a school within their community. And that had to be what? Somewhere around,
70, late 60s, early 70s.
well, it was a little earlier than that, but it was close to that.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you could tell when they take schools out of the community, when they take the services and goods out of the community, people leave.
Right.
And this is, in my opinion.
But
what's
oftentimes they'll say that that's why they're taking the goods out of the community. They'll say that the population has dwindled and this is why we're pulling back.
they make.
It's one of those which comes first, the chicken or the eggs type of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have, and I've often said that I think the City of Flint administration, the Board of Education, the Unemployment Office, the county, and everybody that is involved in municipal and government should get together. All of these people should get together before they make any decision, because it impacts the
Everybody.
whole.
Okay.
It impacts the whole. And I have yet to see that happen, but I would love to see the Flint Community School Board and the City of Flint at least get together before they make decisions on closing schools. Get with the city prior to that, because it really hurts the community, and this is what's going on. I think that's what you see right now.
So now you used to be a council person here in Flint, Fifth Ward City
Yes.
Council.
Hmm.
So did you come from a political background? What got you involved in this?
Well, actually, it was the people in the community got me involved, because it stemmed from block clubs and Crime Watch. We started monitoring what was going on in our community, and we closed a lot of places down that was a liability to us. And as a result of that, I more or less was a spokesperson. As a result of that, the people wanted me to run. And I'm not a politician, because, I have to take my hat off to BB. He has done a tremendous job in spite of all the red tape and politics that he has to go through. He's making some serious progress.
Yes, you are.
In areas where it needs to be made in the north end of Flint.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that I acknowledge that, even though he's kin, he's doing a tremendous job.
Yes, you are.
We need to support people that are doing things, in that vein for us. There's so many out there that they forgot where they come from.
You set the groundwork for me. I watched what you were doing. I used to come down when you used to do some of your block club meetings. You'd be right there in that big area, right? Is it a garage or?
No, it was they built on to the house.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but is it a garage or is it a karate studio?
Yes, it's where
it's
you also-
everything.
yes,
it's
yes,
everything.
yes.
But
So-
I remember coming there and listening to you when I was young and seeing how you were so impactful in the community, and being around my dad and being around you, that actually inspired me to do the work that I'm doing.
Right.
Because I do it for the people. I don't do it. I'm not looking for accolades or none of that.
Right,
I'm all about trying to be of service to the community.
And that's when you'll be successful, because people feel your heart.
Yeah.
You know, that you can tell when people are doing it, when they have an ulterior motive, you can feel it.
Right.
So hats off to the both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, for everything that you're doing in the community. And so I grew up watching a wonderful example.
Absolutely.
Him and my mother. My father was he's the president of the block club, and my mother was the secretary of the block club. And then I remember him running for council.
Absolutely.
Yes, and then I remember him winning, and I remember him wearing like 6-piece suits to the meetings. And I I was like, why so many pieces, Dad? Come on. No, but well before he even got the title of being a council person, everybody always came to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of like what he said about his home being brought up, like his house was the house, our house was the house.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was constant. People were constantly knocking on the doors and calling and saying, Mr. Taylor, my cat is in a tree, can you help me? Or it was just constant. It was constant. And let me see what I can do. Yes, and even though you have retired, he has still today stayed committed to his community. I mean, it's so amazing to see the transition in Flint. You know, and I've lived away for years. I've lived in California, I lived in Georgia, I did and then I returned home. And to see the difference, to see the change, to see cleared out vacant land where there used to be structures.
Absolutely.
You know, it's something to see. You have to adjust your mind to the new. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Perspective is everything in anything that you do, you know. And so for a lot of you that don't know, when I moved back home, I started a television show called Rehabin The Hood, where I tried my best to show people, to enlighten them on the gems that they were sitting in their own backyard. You know, like, come on, there's people that are flying into Flint from all over the world picking up these properties. You all need to do the same, you know, because it's in your own backyard, you know. But I think oftentimes you can't see the forest for the trees. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you've never lived anywhere else but Flint, you really don't know the gem that you're sitting on. But I realized that a lot of the things that I have done, it came from the examples
Absolutely.
that was around me. So tell me, where do you see Flint being today? Where do you think we are today?
Well, I can say this. Flint is a very resilient community because we've had our challenges over the years. We had a lot of disinvestment, you know, when General Motors left, and we had a shrinking tax base. We had some challenges, but I think from those challenges, there's a lot of opportunities. And I see Flint on a resurgence. And, you know, it's going to take some time, but we need to make sure we have the correct people at the table as we move forward. Because I tell people all the time, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. And I think that's one of the things that we see here in this community. A lot of times we complain about what's not being done, but are you being involved, or are you getting involved so that you can have a voice when these changes are occurring? And that's one of the biggest things that I try to advocate to the people that I talk to in the community. You know, a lot of young folks are coming out of Burston, and I got some young men that I think would be excellent in this space that I'm in right now.
Yes.
In the future. And I try to mentor them, and I tell them that. I said, you know, you got to get involved. You got to be able to ask questions, and there's no wrong question but the one you don't ask.
Right.
So that's something that I see, and you know, and that's why I'm such a strong advocate for redevelopment, and I'm a strong advocate for North Flint, because you know we've seen so much investment in downtown Flint and other areas, but we need some wins in North Flint. And one of the key pieces that I'm very excited about, this Wednesday at our Board of Commissioners meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, we're going to be voting on using some ARPA dollars to help Ashley Capital for a development at the Buick City site. They just recently did a purchase agreement on all 360 acres. They're going to invest and put up 3.5 million square feet of buildings. It's going to be maybe 6 or 7 buildings. And with those buildings, they're looking at about 2,500 jobs and paying about $17 an hour. This is a great opportunity. A lot of people haven't been in the loop with this, but I was very active right on the forefront. Actually, I was even able to help Ashley Capital reach out to a church that's on Hamilton. It used to be the old Detroit Northern Bank, and then became a church. Well, that pastor, he's retiring, and he wanted to sell. I was able to connect him with Ashley Capital, and they gave him a very nice purchase for their property. And now that right there just let me know that this investment is coming. It's a $350 million investment that's coming to this community over the next couple of years. And if you haven't had an opportunity to Google Ashley Capital, they are a monster. What they do, they take old industrial sites and repurpose them. And this is going to be a game changer for this community. But if I had not been at the table, I wouldn't know none of this.
Right.
Because when I was at the table, when they were having these discussions, I looked around, there wasn't too many people that looked like me.
Right.
Understood.
So,
I got
you know, that's it. So like
we
I was
definitely need that.
yeah, we
need
got to
that.
be at the table.
We need
so if
that.
you're not at the table, you're going to be on the menu,
Right.
and you don't want to be on the menu.
I'm gonna start using that. That's good.
Is,
So-
is this the area, the university, not university, but the industrial park area?
It's the whole Buick City site,
Yeah,
from
the whole
Hamilton all the way to Stewart.
Right.
Woo, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
and we're going to be voting on it on Wednesday.
Good.
The city of Flint's going to be voting on it right after that, and then it's going to be a big announcement. But we've been working on this since April,
Right.
Nice.
and you know, getting everything together. And you had to go through EGLE, which is it used to be Department of Environmental Quality. EGLE's, they had some issues that they had to deal with that, but everything's in place.
Right.
We
And,
need more of
and
that.
we're moving forward on it. So
Good.
this is going to be exciting.
Yes.
It's going to be a game changer for this
And
community.
we hope it's a domino effect for
Yeah,
other corporations and companies
absolutely.
to come, because we
Absolutely.
need it. We definitely need it. Now,
Absolutely.
going towards you, now tell me, where do you think we're at? Where do you think the city of Flint is at presently?
Well, I think we're at a crossroad right now, based upon what BB's saying. It depends on who's at the table.
Right.
And of course, you know, everybody knows that we got 2 county commissioners that actually represent, you
The
know,
city of Flint.
the city of Flint. And so, you know, we do have the council and we have, you know, the mayor. The thing is that we gotta get the total community involved in the decisions that need to be made. At the same time, we don't have an educated community. And so what is happening, things are being passed and people don't know what is going on.
So break that down to me when you say we don't have an educated community. Break that down. What do you mean by that?
We're absent, just like BB just got through saying, we're not at the table because we don't know what's going on. Okay, it's not from the educational standpoint. It's just that we're left out of the decision making now. There's a process that's in place for people to go to council meeting, go to commissioner meetings, go to Board of Education meetings. But we, in terms of our priorities, don't go there.
Okay, we don't get involved.
We don't get involved.
So we complain about
We
who's doing
complain.
what or not doing what, but
Absolutely.
we're not involved. We don't look at ourselves in the mirror and say,
Don't
well,
look
what
at
am
the
I
big
doing?
picture.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So first, I would indict our citizens of the community for not getting involved.
Because a community is only as good as the citizens that live in it.
There you go. Government is supposed to be
By the people,
The
for
people.
the people.
for the people. It's not that way. And so as a result of that, we failed. I mean, we put people in office and we expect them to do what we want them to do. When it don't happen the way we want, we complain.
Do you oftentimes feel like politics is a popularity contest?
Absolutely. That's what it's become.
The person with the most popular name?
The person that has the name gets elected, whether he's crooked or good or an angel. If you got a name, you
Which goes back to what you just said when you said we're just uneducated when it comes to a lot of the
Absolutely.
candidates. We just, oh my gosh, okay, so I'm familiar with this name.
The same people get get the job. I mean, and I don't, we have, that's the problem in our community, Now, when you take a look at, there are different cultures in our community. When you take a look at the south side, the south west side, you look at the streets, you look at the parks, and they're well maintained. You go and you look at the north side of the city of Flint, the east side of the city of Flint. I mean, you can't drive your car down there without driving like you dodging tackles over a railroad track.
So why do you think that there's such a big difference between these sides of town?
Well, again, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. People are not complaining at the same time. You see city trucks, county trucks in our area daily. There should be someone writing, documenting streets that are tore up, trees that should be cut, trimmed, and whatever. But these things aren't being done in our area.
And you're saying,
In the other areas, they are being done.
and again, when you go back to it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. We pretty much complain to one another, and
Yes.
we don't take it to the elected person.
We preach to the choir.
Understood. I got you. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So now you said where you believe that we're at. So where would you like to see the city go?
It really wouldn't take the city of Flint that much to be the model city that the Mott Foundation
Wanted to be.
actually, their charter dictate, because the Mott Foundation, well, I'll go back. The General Motors had a 99-year lease on the city of Flint. That lease was up in 2000. And everybody knew that. I'm not going to say everybody, but the politicians knew it. But we did not replace, and so that's when Congress, Senate, and everybody made decisions to send jobs overseas. It was a little before that they started doing that, but they started shipping jobs overseas. And so we displaced our workforce, the people that are buying, the buying power, the people that are paying taxes, and they sent those jobs overseas. So now what we have is those people over there are making what we used to make. We used to make everything. Refrigerators, cars, we made all kinds. There's nothing that we can't do here. Long story short, when that happened, the bottom dropped not only out of the city of Flint, but America. And that's where we are today now. What, in my opinion, the city of Flint, with the Mott Foundation's, Mott Foundation used to be what, the third largest foundation in America,
Wow,
in the world.
he said
really.
in the world.
In the world.
Wow.
So, but now I think they're somewhere down the line. But at the same time, their charter dictated that 80% of the dollars for the Mott Foundation was supposed to go to making the city of Flint a model city. Now, you've heard that over and over and over, a model city. Now, they've invested quite a bit of money in the city of Flint, but you wouldn't know it because, just like you said earlier, BB, you had a lot of people misappropriating, just outright stealing the money. And
Absolutely.
this is where we are today.
Thievery.
Yes. And so, and the bad thing is, I don't know of anyone that have went to prison or whatever.
My goodness.
You know, I don't know. You might know, but I don't know of anyone.
Well,
I mean, we've had for Christ's sake, we've had people die from the water,
Ah,
and nobody's went to prison from that.
nobody was held
You
accountable.
see.
So when we talk about where you say you see Flint going, where do you see Flint going?
I see Flint because of, I think people see what you see now, and we needed people like you out cheering, saying, "Hey, look at us! Look what we have here. You could live here much better than you can live, or much cheaper than you can live someplace else.
Definitely much
Property
cheaper.
is much cheaper here, and we have a workforce that we can do anything." And so I see a lot of people coming in now. And again, like I say, we're looking at what, about 100,000, a little under 100,000 people. Flint used to be over 250,000 people here. It was the fastest growing little metropolis in
Had more millionaires per capita than anywhere in the country
yes.
Wow.
at one time.
Wow.
We had it going on. But you know, like to your point, I see Flint because there are some people that are investing in here now, and it's not going to take that long for us to get where we are supposed to be. Of course, it's going to be a university town. Ann Arbor, Lansing, some of the rest of these places, they're not going to have anything on us. I see this happening. And
Within the next what?
within the next, I would say within the next 5 to 10 years, Flint is going to have it going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely would agree with that because not only do we have the educational aspect, but we also have the medical.
Yes, yes.
The medical piece, and then we do have the manufacturing base too.
Yeah.
Because we still have a lot of folks that can work in that space. But one of the things that I'm excited about is that Flint River Restoration Project. Because when they do that, that's going to be a game changer.
Absolutely.
When you be able to canoe up and down the Flint
Oh
River.
yes, that's gonna be
When you
awesome.
basically have a beach right downtown.
Oh yeah. Oh
And you're gonna
yeah.
have a state park, and that's one thing that I did not know until being involved with the Genesee County Parks. Genesee County was the only county out of the 83 that did not have a state park in it.
Yeah.
So now with the Flint Water Restoration Project, that's going to become a state park.
Right.
And so we're a very resilient community, and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and like Matt was saying, it's going to take a village to be able to do that. But one of the things that I think we have to be really, really strategic in is being able to keep our talents here, because we have a lot of folks that grew up here, went away to college,
Yes.
and then they don't come back.
Absolutely.
And there's a
But,
reason.
Yeah, and
Yes.
there's a reason, because there's not a lot of things to do.
No.
But I think it's a paradigm now where they're looking to try to change that
Good.
and be able to keep people here. I know with the little housing and things that they have downtown, and trying to make it more accessible to those college students. So when they finish their college education, they'll stay here and use their talents to actually build up the community. And I think that that's going to be key for our rebirth.
Right.
We just needed to spread,
We need to spread.
further than
Further.
downtown.
Yeah.
So I have one or two more questions for you. So talk to me and tell me, what is the position of the commissioner? Tell me.
Primarily, the role of the commissioner is to protect the county purse strings.
Oh.
We have fiduciary responsibility. So we deal with the budget. We deal with ordinances and other things as well. But primarily, that is our primary charge. I myself, because I chair government operations, I'm responsible for the courts, the prosecutor's office, sheriff's department, animal control, and IT on Veterans Affairs as well. So on those departments, actually, I'm the first line of defense when they need something. They have to come and have that conversation with me, and then we work out whatever that is, and then we bring it before the full board. But it's 9 of us, represents 9 distinct areas in Genesee County. They just recently changed the boundaries. Prior to this year, I represented the 1st District, and I had Mount Morris Township, Beecher, the city of Mount Morris, a little bit of Genesee, Township and the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Ward. Since they changed my boundaries now, I have just basically Beecher now. And then I have the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 7th Ward. So now I go from Stanley Road and Saginaw, basically all the way over to the south side. I go down to Richfield Road and Richfield to Center, and from Richfield and Center.
They just say, "Oh, I've heard of him," but you need to know the responsibilities of these people, so you know who to call when you have a complaint or a concern. And so that's why I wanted to know. Explain to the people.
And that's why I mentioned earlier about the different boards that I'm on, because by me being in the position as a county commissioner, we have certain boards that you can sit on or they want you to sit on. And these boards are very, very important here in the community.
Very.
And then I've been able to elevate myself to be in a leadership position on those boards. And, so we have a voice at the table. Because like I said, if you don't have a voice at the table, you're on the menu.
You're on the menu.
So that's something that I really pride myself on, and I'm really happy about it. And one thing about me, even when I was on the city council, and I still pride myself on that today, if you reach out to me, I'm gonna call you back.
Yes.
That's one thing that anybody that knows me,
Right.
if you call me, I'm gonna call you back, and I'm going to, try to do the best I can. I might not be able to get it done, but I will ask the questions and be able to put you in a position so that you can have an opportunity to be heard.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I pride myself on.
Good. We like that. Okay, so I'm sorry, were you about to say something?
But I know you're the chairperson, and one of the responsibilities is the courts, the judges and things like that. What is, because just like Sophia was saying, that there is a lot of questioning about people getting their right for a hearing in the courts. Can you elaborate on some of those
Well,
things?
that all falls on the chief judge for the circuit court and for the district court as well. Primarily what I do as the chairperson for that committee is when they have different resolutions and other things. So the court is actually a separate employer, but they have to come through us for their financial
Right.
or fiduciary responsibilities. So that's where I actually have a say, and I can ask those questions. So whenever there's any questions related to something like you just stated, I can actually pose those questions and be able to get those answers.
Get that.
But all you gotta do is just let me know.
Yeah.
Because one thing about me, I will ask a question. And one thing that I really pride myself on, and I tell people this, and anybody that knows me know this, and I think this is one of the reasons why I've been successful in the position I've been in. I read everything.
Oh, wow.
Where a lot of people take it for granted.
Right.
I read everything. So my colleagues know that when I'm basically saying something, I already know what the answer is
Okay.
before I even ask the question, because I've already read it and I've already researched it.
Good.
And that's one thing that I think a lot of people that's in public office
Right.
need to do a better job at doing.
Yes.
Inform yourself.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, to speak on a topic that you haven't even studied upon.
absolutely.
That
I
was
got you.
that was a and I don't mean to. This is your
I'm
asking questions.
I was about to
This is
do
your
you like I done. Hey, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. This is so funny. All right, so we're gonna as we move towards wrapping it up. I'm gonna say a few words, and I want you to just spit out to me what comes to mind when I say these words. Neighborhood,
Community,
Flint,
home,
family,
love,
water,
bad,
legacy,
wow, me,
hey,
There you go.
politics,
a job,
love,
best thing ever,
God.
love.
All right, I'm coming over here to you. So when I give you these words, tell me what you're going to, what comes to mind. Politics.
Power.
Kids.
Future.
Water.
Life.
Flint.
Oh,
Family.
it's life,
Neighborhood.
community,
God.
all power.
All right. And on that note, this has been a wonderful show. I thank you guys for coming out. If you have anybody got anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you for giving me the opportunity. This was fun to be able to sit here with my two cousins, who really is like my uncle.
Yes. Yes.
But it's been a pleasure because I've watched him over the years, and I've tried to make sure that I do things that I think the way that he would do it.
Yeah.
You've done
And
that.
and I'm just happy for the mentorship and being able to watch him over the years.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much. And I know you probably are hungry. I hear your stomach growling.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And I know it's
I
time.
got to go eat some salmon.
It's time to go. It's time to go. So thank you all for tuning in to Let's Talk About It with Sophia Janell Taylor. And we will see you next time. Thank you to our guests, Mr. Matthew Taylor and Brian B.B. Nolden. You guys have been wonderful to your community. Well done. Good job, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Peace out. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.